What's up, my people? Welcome back for another episode of the Max Off-Road Podcast. My guest today is one of my favorite people, Ryan McCasland. Ryan is the videographer, photographer for the Hard Enduro series. We worked together all year in 2024 to bring the content to the people for the Hard Enduros. And he's just a very unique character and has followed a very unique path and brings a lot to the sport. And that's why we had him on the podcast today. And we talk a lot about a lot of things, but we talk about the US Hard Enduro series, how he got into it. There's a lot of good pieces of advice in here for people that are like trying to succeed in life, a lot of mindset, a lot of inquiry about mindset and how to choose the life that you want to have rather than react to the life that's coming to you. We talk a lot about a lot of fun stuff in here, and Ryan is definitely he's a Haas in training right now, but he's getting there. He's very close to the certified Haas stamp. So
Josh has to make that final call.
Yeah, Josh, exactly. Josh has to make that final call. So Josh, if you're out there listening to this, he's just going to be searching for that for 2025. Just letting you know. So anyway, all good. I hope you guys like this podcast. Before we get into this podcast, let's rip a quick word from our sponsors. Guys, Slavens Racing is a online retailer for all the best hard enduro products. They got the mousses, the tires, the handlebars, the handguards, the skid plates. They have all the stuff that you need to make your dirt bike certified Haas so that you can ride on the weekends and keep having fun. These guys ship out same day. It comes right to your door. And if you need help with anything, call their phone number, and they must have a bunch of dirt bike guys just waiting to talk about dirt bikes by the phone, because they will help you with anything that you need. Jetting, CDI, electrical, exhaust, whatever, it doesn't matter. They will help you. Hit them up. Also, Onyx Off-Road. Okay, we got a new sponsor of the podcast. Onyx Off-Road is my choice GPS app. The reason being is there's a few things that I really like about it. I really like the boundaries. It has the different boundaries, so I can tell whether I'm on national forest, BLM, or if there's private property somewhere, so I can make sure I stay off people's private property if that's the case. Having the boundary lines is really important. They have trails on there, which is really nice. And my favorite feature is the 3D map feature. I was actually got into some trouble in Hawaii, and we were kind of lost and twisted around. We needed to know which direction, but the mountains there were so unpredictable and we're so shrubbed in, it was really hard to see what was actually going on. So we were able to utilize the 3D map and actually get out of there. It was nighttime at the time, so it was very helpful to me in that situation. And that's why I wanted to share this with you guys today. If you enter MAX15 at checkout for an elite account, that gives you a 20% discount. Do it or don't, doesn't matter, but Onyx is Haas certified. Bulletproof Designs, once again, these guys, another Haas certified company. These guys have all the best billet aluminum protective parts for your bike, okay? What Bulletproof represents to me is less bike work. I am kind of sick of working on bikes. I've been doing it for like 25 years. More than that, actually, and I'm kind of sick of it. So if I can put radiator braces on and a rotor guard, and I can avoid switching out parts on my bike and save me time so I can go ride more, that's what I'm talking about with Bulletproof. Made in the USA, and lifetime warranty, I think. So if you bend or break something, then you can send it in and they'll send it back. They take care of the hard enduro industry. So if you can choose to buy from them, you are contributing to the sport in a positive way. They've been a big help. That's all I got for you guys today. Let's get into the episode. Thanks for the help getting this studio set up a little bit today, dude. I know it's a little bit of a process, and this is like version 4, I think, of the studio right now. So it's nice to have a little video guy perspective on how to set this place up.
Automatic. This is sick. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah.
Tell me if I'm talking too loud or something. First time podcast.
Let her rip, bro. Let her rip.
But yeah, the studio is sweet. It's way more pro than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really know what I was expecting, but you got soundboard and carpet on the walls and everything. So
It's coming together.
looks good.
It's a process. It's just like anything else. You know what I mean? You reinvest into it a little bit. You know, like you're a video guy yourself. That might be a good place to start. Why don't you fill us in a little bit? I don't think we've talked about it very in depth, but like you started riding dirt bikes in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so how'd that happen?
So my background with photography and video, I've been doing that forever, pretty much, like ever since I was in middle school and in high school, filming friends, surf and skate. You know, I'd take photos, fisheye photos, skateboarding and surfing and making videos. And that's where I really fell in love with photography. And it was always with my love for the mountains. You know, that was kind of like my adrenaline, hiking a big peak to shoot sunset, make dinner, camp, shoot Milky Way, wake up early, shoot sunrise, or hike a peak for sunrise, or lightning storm, figure out where the weather's going to be great, where the moon's going to be lighting up a mountain range, and shoot that. And then went to college in Northern California at Chico State. And I was always driving my old Jeep up to the mountains every weekend to take photos. I was like, oh, but this is such a bummer. I'm blowing so much fuel, so much gas money and time wasted like in a car all day. I need a dual sport so I can just ride these fire roads, because guys would pass on dirt bikes. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so fun.
That's how it always starts, dude. All it takes is one guy to see the dirt bike go riding by him to be like, what's that?
I was always kind of into it. My dad raced when he was younger. He grew up in New Mexico, like raced motocross and desert races. So I was always around it. We would go to supercrosses and outdoors at Paula and stuff growing up in San Diego. But he never got into it. He kind of quit, got hurt, moved to California, just wanted to raise a family by the beach. So I was never brought into it. But I was always interested in like the Baja racing and dirt biking. So when I went to college, saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need a dual sport. But it was never for the sport of it. It was solely for transportation.
Right.
Like I was so focused on my landscape photography that I didn't even care about the sport at that point.
Right.
So then saved up, like raking leaves and working as a student photographer, bought an XR400 that first summer back from college. So end of my freshman year, which was 2018. And got
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago. So got an XR400, rode it a couple times out in the desert. My buddy Dylan took me out for my first time. Dylan rips and he took me out. I'm like, hey dude, this is my first time. And it was at night and they all like have like Baja Designs XL80s and I got a candle on my XR400, you know, and never been to the desert before riding. So that was a shock. And then went up to NorCal.
But it was so much fun.
So much fun.
So it had you.
It had me. I was hooked.
Captured you.
Well, it was sick, but I was really looking forward to getting back to Chico, back to the mountains, and doing photography, like
and using the bike to
using
do it
the bike to do that. So
what a perfect combination between all the shit that you love. Photography, landscape photography, getting cool places for the photography. And then, so you almost discovered dirt bikes out of necessity to get places for your photography and to shoot cool shit.
Yeah, it was never for the sport. So then I got to NorCal, started doing rides with my camera backpack to go shoot mountains. And then I think within like the first or second ride, there were some dudes riding trails and they were like, hey, like, do you kind of want to tag along with us? Like, what are you riding? I was like, oh, I was just taking some photos up here. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is pretty fun. Because at this point I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool.
Starting to froth for it a little bit.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, like, let's go ride some trails. And they just took me to this crazy, gnarly, cool area. Just flowy mountain single track and just got hooked. And every single weekend after that, never used my camera, just started dirt biking and got completely hooked. Like would get completely smoked. You know, I'd leave from my house, ride up into the mountains, like 40 minutes on the road up into the mountains, ride all day long, ride back in the dark, you know,
on the XR400.
On the XR400, get home at like 9 p.m. My roommates are like, bro, what are you doing?
Dude, the XR400 is a great bike though.
Yeah.
You talk to my dad and he'll say one of his favorite bikes ever made is the XR650L. Mm-hmm. He's still got one. He absolutely loves it. And all he ever wants is his suspension to feel like on his KTM or whatever he's riding right now. All he wants is his suspension to feel like that XR650.
Yeah, it was cool because I didn't know what good suspension felt like. I didn't know what anything felt like, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. So to me at the time, it was just what I had, and it was sick, and it worked. So there was I wasn't messing with anything. I wasn't bummed about anything because I didn't know what something else could feel like.
Totally. Dude, they actually work pretty good. Like a stock XR400 for what it was, like kind of a soft frame, old school 4-stroke. Like, dude, you can actually ride the piss out of those things pretty hard. And the suspensions hold themselves up like pretty good. They soak stuff up. Like, it's actually, people get spoiled. Like, people will come off a bike like that and they'll get on like a KTM or a more modern bike or something, or the Beta or whatever, Yamaha, and they'll be like, oh, the suspension's so stiff and it's not forgiving and I can't really just throttle up this hill. Like, it requires and it asks more of the rider. But that's why they're beginner trail bikes, and that's also why they're so fun, those XR400s.
That happened to me. So after a few months, probably almost a year, like 6 to 9 months of having the XR, I got a 450X because I got back home to San Diego, and I was telling my dad, like, oh, you got to get a dirt bike now. I'm so into it. And he's like stoked to see me up at college riding. And he always heard about riding dirt bikes in Mexico and Baja, like doing Baja rides, like going to camping and going from hotel to hotel. And he was like, all right, if you get a bike, I'll get a bike and we'll go do this. So I eventually got a 450X. He got a 450X. And that's when I realized, like, oh crap, these bikes are a lot harder to ride. I brought it back to Chico, and no longer could I just like grunt my way up steep, tricky terrain.
A lot more power,
like a lot harder to manage.
Totally.
So it was a lot to get used to.
And then you got the 450X, and then that whole thing snowballs and progresses, and then you end up as the videographer for the Hard Enduro series starting, what was that, last year, 2024?
Mm-hmm.
But you were doing photos and videos for the moto scene. So, like, how did you kind of transfer from, like, your landscape photography, videography, and how did you transition into, like, the moto scene? Obviously, it's because you're passionate about moto, but, like, where did those connections start being made?
So it started being made in college. I was super new to dirt biking, wasn't good, but what I could, and I wanted to ride with people because that's the only way you get better. And I knew that from kind of skateboarding. Before dirt bikes, I was all into skateboarding. That was, like, my adrenaline. And so when I moved to Chico and got into dirt biking, I heard about a dirt bike club, and I was like, oh, I got to look into this. If there's other dudes here that dirt bike, game on.
Totally.
And sure enough, go to a meeting first of the semester. Boom.
College dirt bike club.
College dirt bike club.
What was it called?
Chico State Dirt Riders.
Whoa.
Represent.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So go to a meeting with my buddy Ryan, who I met at the skate park through one of my other friends that skated. He was like, Ryan, like, my roommate dirt bikes, you should come over and hang out at the house later. Cause I knew this guy through San Diego and through skateboarding. And we skated back to his house. I was like, dude, what's up? I'm Ryan too. You dirt bike? Cool. Let's go to this meeting at the club tonight. So go there. It's like 4 or 5 different other guys. It's all their first year at Chico too. Everyone's a freshman, and there's no guys in the club that have been in the club before. It's all like, we're all in the same boat.
Sick.
We're like looking at Omar, who's one of my best friends now, like, hey dude, like, nice to meet you. Like, so how does this work? And he's like, I don't know, man. Honestly, this is my first time here. And we were all new.
No way.
No one was, like, all fresh club members.
Did they just organize rides, or what'd they actually do?
So it was just up to us because there was no one in the club that did anything before. So we were like, all right, like, what kind of bikes do you guys have? What do you guys like to ride? It was a mix of guys from SoCal that would go to the track. It was a mix of guys from Northern California that would grow up going camping in the mountains with their parents. And so we just started going out in the hills and riding and having a good time. And fast forward now, we're all best friends. But the way my camera got involved in it is I could offer something to ride with, like, higher level riders. So even though these guys were my friends, they were a lot better than me at the time. And I feel bad, like, I feel bad to hold people up on rides, or because they're waiting on me and I'm a rookie and they could just keep going. So I'd bring my camera, like, hey, I'm going to go up here, get some good shots. You guys will be stoked. So now they're stoked to have me along because I can offer something.
Totally.
And that's what I realize now. Everyone on rides offers something. Like, you're the pro, you do cool things. I can offer photos. Someone can offer local knowledge. Someone can offer, like always has a good attitude.
Everybody brings like a different
brings
value.
a value to build the crew. So then it just started snowballing. And so I started doing photos for that. And then the local company, Mojo Motorsports, our buddy Owen and Spencer were working for them at the time. And I was riding this area up in the mountains where we'd ride. And I just started riding there every single weekend because it was so cool. Super, super cool area. Colton Haker's dad, John Haker, is a big guy, a big influence to the area. He's built a lot of the trails, goes there a lot. So kind of knew him a little bit through riding there. We'd ride a little bit. And
did you know who Colton was at that time?
Yeah. And this is when I was first like just looking into the sport and seeing guys like Colton and Cody and everyone. I was like, oh my gosh, these dudes are crazy, you know? But I was so late to it. It was weird because I just kind of figured out who they were. It's not like I knew them my whole life or something. And so anyways, Nathan Burt, who was the manager, main guy at Mojo, wanted to go ride the place up above Chico because my buddy Owen was like, my boss thinks he knows this place well. You know it way better than him. You're going to show him all these new trails that he's never seen before that he doesn't believe you. I was like, right on, let's go. And so he came. He was surprised like that a kid that's only been in town for 2 years knew more than he has, living there his whole life. So he was stoked, and he's like, oh my gosh, I got to bring our pro guys up here. You got to show my pro guys, which were Anson and Anthony.
That's how you got linked up with Anson and all them.
Yep. So I'm like, cool. Like, I don't know who these guys are. Right on, whatever. Like, I'll
and
show
Anson's
them.
been like one of your OG.
Yep.
OGs.
Yep. Super OG. So Anson was pretty much the guy who gave me the opportunity to start the career. So we do the ride with Anson and Anthony, show them a good time. And I was like, cool, I'm going to bring my camera, take some photos of these guys, kind of see where things go. So shoot a bunch of photos for them, have a good time. Like me, Anson, and Anthony start hitting it off, talking crap and just having a good time right away.
Anthony cracks me up.
It's the man. Yeah. So we have a good time. They do some crazy stuff. We get some cool photos. And Anson's like, dude, these photos are so good. I mean, we're going to 6 days this summer in France. We would love to have you to come and shoot video and photos. I was like, cool. I don't even know what that is, but if it involves going overseas for a couple weeks to take photos and videos, you guys ride a dirt bike and put something together, I'm all about it.
Absolutely.
Game on. He's like, yep, like we'll take care of you. All good. So I was looking forward to that. I didn't even know what it was, but that was just more momentum. And at this point, I was a student photographer working for the school, not making any money, selling landscape prints or anything. So I really wasn't making too much money with my photography career. It was either like do wedding photography and make money, but I'm not motivated in doing that, or couple photography or real estate or something like that. Like more of like a grindy real job feel. So, and the moto stuff was like the start of the snowball where I was like, okay, this could maybe go somewhere. And at the time I was figuring out a place to live in San Diego because I would graduate from college and I didn't want to get a full-time job yet. So my dad and I were thinking like, well, we love going down to Mexico riding. What if we just rent a place down there? What if you just rent a place down there? And that'll buy you some time to figure out if you can make it worth making money in the dirt bike scene, filming dirt bikes. So I did that. We did that. I was living in Mexico, went to 6 days for a month, right when I moved in actually. And that was kind of like the test. I was like, oh great, I just moved in this house in Mexico. It's on a dirt road. Is all my stuff going to get stolen right away when I'm moving in for 6 weeks? It didn't. I put a pressure washer like up on the wall where you can totally see it from the road walking by. Like if it was in San Diego, it would get stolen right away. It was like, it would be easy to steal and it didn't get stolen.
So you put a pressure washer out there as a decoy.
Yeah. It was like a brand new Home Depot electric cheap pressure washer.
So you were willing to lose $100 just to see if you were in a safe area or not? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. $49.99.
That's it?
I think so. Ryobi like deal or something. It was a cheap guy. I still have it, but it's kind of a POS right now.
Is it clapped out?
Yeah, it's clapped out. You pull the trigger, or when you stop the trigger, it's on the whole time. So when you're washing, you have to turn off the unit.
Oh yeah, or you have to like. Did it go through a period where you had to like smack the side of the handle to like get it to release?
Mm-hmm. And also the tip, like the plastic cracked, so it goes out. So it goes out the sides.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so you have to wear flip-flops or else you're just getting soaked. You gotta wear flip-flops and board shorts.
Now you can push it a little bit further out, or like make it a little bit more visible, or just put it out on the street and then see if somebody will take it.
Oh, if you put it on the street, it'll be gone in a second.
Because then it's like free.
Yeah.
It just needs to be rescued at that point.
Yes. So that's what I'll do. Like anything I have that I don't want that could be valuable to someone, to put it on the corner. It's gone in 30 minutes. Next guy that walking by will take it, which is cool.
They'll go fix that thing up and get another 10 years out of that bitch.
I mean, old shoes, dirt bike tires, whatever.
People need shit.
Mm-hmm. Resourceful.
What a perfect convergence of all the things that you like to do. Because, you know, as a photographer, like, you know, photographers, I don't really know how it works, like, you know, shooting photos and video and making money. But like you said, it's either like weddings or portraits or studio shots or something like that. And like you said, like that didn't really interest you. What you liked about photography was that you could kind of capture the essence of the outdoors that you were enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you had this motorcycle thing, the motorcycle thing was great because then you found like two things that you liked. You liked the sport of motorcycle riding. You liked the places that it brought you for your landscape photos. And then like the dirt bike thing, then you started like the sport of it. And then it just started happening that way. And it's like a perfect convergence of all the shit that you love.
Yep. Yeah. So it just started spreading like wildfire, and all I could do is dirt bike, you know, want to learn better, ride with guys that are better with me so I could learn better. And so I ended up going to France with Anson and Anthony and Shane Seibenthal, the other guy who was racing with them.
Yep.
Super fun. We all became like best friends. And then after that, I was doing a bunch of cool videos, just working my ass off for them. And when I was there, I was rooming with Nathan, and he was like, oh, like my friend Matt Musgrove sent me a text like asking who our camera guy was, that he likes your work. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, who's that? And he's like, oh, like Matt runs a local hill climb series and is doing a bunch of hard enduro stuff. He's a good guy to talk to. It's a good guy to be complimenting you. I was like, cool. Okay, well, right on. I'll talk to him when we get back. So I get back from 6 days, kind of get back to Mexico.
So this is 2023?
2022. And so I get back from Mexico. It was September 2022. Get back to Mexico, talk to Matt, and he was like, yeah, right on. I'm doing hill climbs this year in hard enduro. I'd love to have you to come out, film my hard enduro in October, and see where things go. If we work well together, cool, could lead to more stuff. If not, like, no worries, but come out and film a hard enduro or film a hill climb. You killed it in France. I love seeing everything. You got stuff out super quick. I'd love to have you come out to the hill climb. So a month later, go out to the hill climb at Carnegie. We hit it off, have a good time, make a cool video for him. And that was that. And he was like, awesome. I was like, yeah, let me know if you need help with hard enduros this year. I take photos too. Like, I'll do anything. And then he was like, cool, yeah, like, we'll talk. And then it was probably a couple of weeks before King of the Motos, and didn't hear anything from him. So I was like, hey, like, do you guys need help with anything at King of the Motos? I'd love to just go out there. If I could be any help at all, like shoot some photos, give them to you guys for free, whatever. And he's like, yeah, like we could use some photos, like come out. I was like, sick. So came out. Oh, I knew Blake too before this.
Oh, you did?
Yep. So I knew Blake through dirt biking. So we did some stuff in St. George before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like dirt bike stuff. We rode a couple times, or
that's pretty
once
random.
in St. George. Yeah, so I knew him.
Shout out to Blake.
Yeah, shout out to Blake. And then, so came out. Blake knew me, so he introduced me to Evan, introduced me to you, I think, and took some photos from that year at King of the Motos. Got some super sick shots with Tristan, Cody, helicopter in the back. And I remember I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is what I needed. Like I needed some bangers. But to me, that's just how I shot photos. I had an eye from skateboarding where it needs to be dramatic and up close, and it needs to tell a story.
Well, and I feel like your landscape experience comes into play as well, because you're not just looking at a cool shot of the dirt biker. You're looking at a cool shot of the dirt biker that, like you said, tells the story of the area.
Exactly. And you're right. It's more related to my landscape photography than skateboarding, because landscape photography, you need to use the landscape to make it look dramatic.
And you're in the mountains.
Yes.
Yeah, all landscape.
Sky, mountains, the rocks, everything you're on, you need to use that to make it look dramatic. most people think the dirt bikes are dramatic enough.
Right.
But you need to make the landscape, everything you have in the photo to make dramatic. So I shot some cool photos and then went back, got them edited up for Matt right away. He comes in, holy smokes, like, no way you just took these. Like, just started like laughing because he was so stoked on him. He's like, this is what I've always wanted.
Because he's a photography nerd too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he just appreciates good photos and he likes good photos.
But isn't he a photographer though?
Yeah, he does a lot of video and photos. So he knows what it takes and can tell the difference.
Totally.
And I was like, yeah, like, what do you think? Like, I'll send them over to you. Like, I got a Dropbox ready. Like, throw them up, whatever you want to do. And he was super stoked on them. And he was like, oh my gosh, like, these are awesome. And
it's like, we got my guy.
Yeah, we got the guy. And then I remember fast forward a couple more races, went to Hawaii, filmed the video from that in 2020. That was 2023. I ended up filming, I think, all of the regional recap videos and then was doing photos at premieres. And so...
What premieres?
US Hard Enduro.
Oh, premiere.
For 2023.
Yeah.
Premiere rounds.
Yeah.
And I remember after...
Because Blake was doing the videos?
Blake was doing videos, and so I was doing photos. So it worked. It was a super fun year. Like, we had a
Big
sick
time.
team. And I remember after Hawaii, I think... No, after Grinding Zone, we were at the airport or something. And I remember him saying, like, these photos are so good, I can't not have you come to the East Coast. Because it was just before... it was actually after Battle of the Goats. It was right before Pennsylvania rounds. And he was like, oh my gosh, these photos are so good, I can't not let you come. Like, we don't have the money for it, but it just needs to happen. So that was kind of like, I was like, I was proud about that because that meant a lot. So
fast forward to 2024, and then Blake moves on from the Hard Enduros. He does his own thing, and then you step in as video guy for the series, video and photo. That's what we did all year last year. And we placed a focus on like getting those videos out right away because we learned that turnaround time was so important. I mean, it's like almost top priority when it comes to video.
Turnaround time, and also just different, more mediums of the video. So we had recaps, we had how hard was it, interviews that we got up right after the race, course previews, which you guys were already doing, and then the max cams. So it was at least 4 different types of videos published during the weekend.
Yep.
Or up to the next week after. And it was just a lot of, okay, what do people like? You're never going to please everybody. People like raw stuff. People like very cinematic edited stuff. People like interviews. People like music. People don't like music. How can we please as many people as possible in a feasible way? And this was kind of the answer, or what we thought. Let's just try to do.
I think people do crave authenticity and just like kind of realness. And I think that more shorter form content, like less edited and less produced, is probably it's very palatable for people. So if you just like see like enthusiasts of the sport, they want the real shit. They want to hear the interviews with the guys. They want to, like, there's going to be a certain category of people that are like really interested in like the story in the cinematography of it and appreciate the videos. Like what Blake was doing was incredible, like making that like produced video. It's all put together. It's really nice. But people that froth for the sport will just watch an interview video of like, they want to hear what Tristan Hart, Cody Webb, Ryder LeBlanc, they want to hear what the guys have to say about the race. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because so I think more shorter form content, or more, I should say, less like not very highly produced content that's just easy to put out on a timely manner is more important than like a very nice produced thing that comes out way later.
Easy to digest.
Easy to digest, easy to edit, easy to get up. You know what I mean? It's not too dramatic. Get the content out there. Get the stuff out there. That's the most important part, is getting that stuff out there, I feel like.
And it's funny because for me, with the video background, I love Blake's videos. Like, I remember going home from 2023, putting it on, showing my parents, like, this is what I was doing. I was there. You know, like,
dude, his videos were sick.
Yeah. And I can appreciate the editing, the time it takes to make it a show and build the suspense. So
for sure,
I like seeing that. But the average guy wants something easy to digest, right after the race and kind of cover the basics. Who, what, when, where, how.
Exactly. And yeah, the cinematography thing is great, but like to put a video like that out on a Monday after the race is impossible. You would need an entire team of people working on this to make this video. So like you can't really have that video and quick turnaround time with the budget that we're on. It's just,
I mean, look, in Europe, they had Red Bull doing it with a team of guys, and they can't get it out for, I don't know, about a week after.
And the thing is every day, like, here's the peak excitement from an event. Every single day that event is over with, it drops off, and it drops off quickly. So if you're posting stuff as it's happening, that's going to be the best content. You're going to get the most amount of views from that. And then every second that goes by where before you're posting something from after the event, it's going to have less and less and less traction because people are more and more and more uninterested in that and more interested in whatever's next.
For sure. 100%. And that's a big challenge because from the series, you want it to be professional. You want everything to be right. There's so much to show. And especially with how much good footage we can capture from the race, it's so hard to show it all and decide
what goes in.
And each day it's like just ticking away. I remember last year getting the recaps out, and I wouldn't get them out for a week after. And it's every day. Oh my gosh. Like, you just need more time.
Totally. What's the plan for recaps this year? When are we trying to get those out by?
So this year, we're kind of changing it up from what I did last year. We're doing similar to what we did at TKO. For TKO, we called it a MaxCam Gold. We did one for the street race, and that got 100,000 views. And then we did one for the main race that got, I think, around 30,000 views so far.
It's pretty good, too.
It got like 30 within the first few days. Like 25K within the first, like maybe a week after the race.
Damn.
So it did good, too. And what it was it was your commentary and your MaxCam with the professional camera shots laid over you talking. So you would do the intro, say what's going on, what's up. We're out here at Tennessee, straight rhythm, boom, over it, time lapse, street, stuff's going on in the pits, cinematic shots of the street, whatever. Switch back to you. Let's see what's going on.
My commentary as like a timeline almost.
Yeah, that was the baseline. And then we would put camera clips over it, make it like have all the camera clips we have from the whole night over it. And we got that out. Me and Matt got that out at like 5 a.m. the next morning. We stayed up all night. We didn't get back to the hotel.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we stayed up.
Sacrifices, bro.
Sacrifices. Yeah. So we partied a little bit after the race. And then at 11, me and Matt left, drove.
That was brutal.
Yeah. Me and Matt, but sacrifices. I was there to work, not party.
Damn. I remember that.
Hoss shit.
That was
maybe that's where I got my
like
first
one of the
stamp.
most. That was so Hoss, dude. Because we had like some. We had a pretty good situation happening. Yeah, little situation. We had a pretty little situation happening, and then you're like, "Dude, I gotta work." I'm like, "Fuck, bro. Okay." And I'm looking at Matt like, Matt, can you just let him come party with us? And he's like, no, man, we got to get this video done.
No. Well, Matt's such a nice guy. He didn't say that. He was like, I'm going to go home and edit this video.
Leading by example. He's such a good leader.
And I was like, do I have to come? Do I have to do that? He's like, well, I am. And I was like, can we just do it tomorrow? And he was like, I'm going to do it tonight. And I was like, I got to go.
Dude, Matt is such a savage. Like, shout out to Matt Musgrove for that guy's capacity. For those listening that may or may not know who Matt is the director of the US Hard Enduro series, and he's how me and Ryan even know each other. Me and Ryan have worked together on the video side of things for the series, and Matt Musgrove is kind of the head of it all. And that guy operates at such a high capacity. I mean, he's definitely over capacity, but he operates at such a high capacity. He, like, staying up till 3 a.m. to send out a newsletter is like a regular thing for him. And he doesn't care. He just gets it all done. I'm like, dude, you gotta sleep. You gotta, every time I see him, like, bro, make sure you're getting your nutrition and make sure you're getting good sleep. Cause like, I know you're burning the candle from both ends, but that guy works tirelessly for this sport.
What's also so impressive is how level-headed and accurate he can say during that entire time.
Totally.
If you or me start doing that, start talking shit, getting pissed off.
He doesn't get emotional.
Gets emotional.
Well,
Matt
he's
doesn't.
able to like kind of keep that levelness about him, like you said, and like he's
He
not
won't let
in
it
a,
affect him.
well, and there's other people that we've dealt with, promoters or whoever in our lives that operate in an emotional state, and everything that happens, it basically elicits an emotional response from them, and that's how they live their life. They're like in emotional jail, and they just have to take whatever bad, whatever good things, yay, things that are negative, point the finger, get mad.
Exactly.
And getting out of that emotional reactionary state of mind and just knowing that, hey, everything's going to be okay. We'll sort it all out. If somebody's got a scoring issue, we'll get it sorted out. Let's give everybody the benefit of the doubt before we start pointing any fingers.
Exactly.
And making any and yelling at anybody. So and that's what good leaders do.
Mm-hmm. And that's what allows him to have the trust in all of us to do what we want to do. He trusts, say, you, me, and Josh to do our jobs, and he gives us the freedom to do our jobs. And if something's wrong, he'll tell us. But for the most part, he trusts us from what we've done and what we do. And we trust him so much, we're not going to let him down. And we trust all of each other so much, we're not going to let us down.
Do we have a solid crew?
Super solid.
Yeah, it's definitely he's done a good job at getting the right people in the right places. I mean, thinking about a guy like Josh Schecker, I mean, Josh kind of put himself there, but there's not a better person for that job anywhere.
Nope.
Me and you, not to like gas ourselves up, but just having the skill sets, the unique skill sets that we have, like finding these people, he definitely has a way of finding people. And, when you look at the US Hard Enduro series from 2022 until now, when Matt picked it up in 2022, and now if you look at the growth and the improvements in the races and the formats and the organization and all that, there's always places to improve. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at from 2022 till now, the series has improved a lot. And now we got guys, and now the series has the Europeans wanting to come over because the FIM is not treating their riders right. I shouldn't speak out of term here, but it doesn't seem like the riders are very happy with how things are going over there.
And they've expressed that publicly.
They've expressed it publicly. Nobody's getting paid. You know what I mean? There's all these restrictions in terms of content. These guys can't even wear GoPros. They can't put their stuff out, which is the exact opposite thing. If you wanted a sport to die, you'd say, all right, nobody film anything. All you riders, no, you can't have your own content.
And guess what? If you win, you get a rock.
Yeah.
You don't get shit.
Yeah. If you win, all you do is go home with a broken motorcycle. So it's like, it's just not very juicy for these guys. These guys, this is a business. These guys need to make money, and they want to have a good time, and they want to feel valued. Like, I think as a racer myself, when the promoters don't value me being there as like the rider to bring the show, that feels shitty. And when I don't get paid, or when I get not taken care of in certain ways, that doesn't feel, when I don't feel like the promoters have the rider's best interests at heart, then it's not as good.
So one of the main points I feel like Matt really did well when he started this whole thing was treat the riders with respect and show the riders respect, show the racers respect. Matt made sure to give them the respect. Like, hey, what do you guys want to do? Do you like this? Do you not like this? Is this too long? Is this too easy? Is this too hard? One of the best things he probably did was hire you, because you're the voice of action for all the pros.
Liaison.
If you go out and we get to a race course and you go out and ride the race course and you're saying it's too hard or whatever's up with it, you can then tell Josh and Matt to make these changes, like, hey, these guys aren't going to like this. And then they'd come up to you like, hey, Max, how's it looking? How's this? How's that? And then you're the liaison. You're the middleman. And that's such a valuable position to have respect, like have the racers respect for the series. Like they're looking forward to coming to the race because they know we take care of them.
Exactly. Or we're at least trying.
Yeah.
We're trying
from the most we can from a race series.
Exactly. Well, and once again, we do as much as we can as the US Hard Enduro series, but we're still organizing a series of races put on by different clubs or race promoters. So we have to work with those promoters with their format and integrate our rules and our formats and our scoring system, and we have to integrate into their event. So the promoters are really important to us. So we have like this three-way dance between US Hard Enduro crew, the promoters, and the racers. What the racers want, what the promoters want, and what we think would be the best for everybody. You know what I mean? And it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy.
That's again where Matt does a good job about it. The racers will say something. They'll say something to us or you or me, and then you, me, and Josh will get fired up and tell Matt that this needs to change because we're all fired up. But then Matt's like very level-headed. No, look at it from the promoter's side. Look at it from this side. It's okay. And so many times how many times have we been like, oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
It's so many times, like 2 days later goes by and we're like, holy shit, Matt was totally right about that. Yeah. I know, it is good. It's good. He's a good leader. Speaking of hard enduro, there's some exciting things. We're coming into a new year. Should we jump into like some predictions and stuff like that and kind of see what's happening? So we got the Premier Series, so things are kicking off next weekend. King of Motos, and then Hawaii, Grinding Stone,
Moab,
and
which will be my first time going there for the race.
Moab's sick.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's sick for sure. And then
East Coast.
we have Battle of the Goats, the 2 Pennsylvania rounds, and then Tennessee Knockout in August, right?
Virginia's in there.
Virginia's in there.
You went to last year.
That's right. Virginia's going to be sick too. I'm actually really looking forward to the Virginia one. That's a sick zone for sure. You haven't been there, right?
Nope. I remember watching the videos and seeing all your videos from last year. It looks sick. It looks like, at least for me, I thought it looked like a ski resort on the East Coast with how big of open mountains there were to climb.
Kind of it, but the thing is you're kind of like up on this plateau and then you go down into the canyons from this plateau. So it's not really like the West Coast where you start down low and then you go up into the mountains. It's more like you kind of start up on these plateau and you go into these hollers. It's just different, dude. It's so unique out there. So
different.
Yeah, but that's what's cool about the Hard Enduro series, is like the uniqueness. Then you go from that to Page, to Moab, to Hawaii.
So diverse.
And that's why like it's one of the sickest series, I think.
Yeah. I remember talking to Ryder Guest, I think 2 years ago. It was his first time at Page. And we're like, oh, like, are you excited? Like, how are you feeling? This is so different than Hawaii. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm excited, man. Like, I've never ridden in sand before. Like, this shit's crazy. Never ridden in sand.
What? He must live on an island.
Yeah.
They don't have sand in Hawaii?
Well, I guess they don't ride on the beach too much.
You can't ride on the beach there.
Why would we ride on the beach when you have Omao? So, and then he got like 10th probably or something. Killed it. So I remember that being a crazy story. Like, oh my gosh, you've never really ridden in sand and you're coming off of a big slab into like sand whoops and hauling ass across the desert in sand whoops to get to it, like during a hard enduro.
Well, and those guys' bike setups are so unique. Like, I watch their bikes. I'm like, dude, their bikes are like soft in the front and then like kind of high in the rear. And I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, but it looks like they're soft in the front and high in the rear, which is like what you don't want for sand or for like any West Coast terrain.
Would that help with hill climbs or no?
It would.
Because you're higher up in the rear?
It would. It probably would. Especially Page where it's really steep. So maybe it would. But I think you kind of reach a point of diminishing returns too, because like then your front end still steers. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big high in the back kind of guy. I'm more of a low in the back.
It works for them.
It works for them. Well, it works for them in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But when they go to the West Coast, King of Motos or Page or something like that, they're like, they don't really know what to do. They're still learning.
They don't like the moose. They're not used to the moose.
They're not used to the moose. The same way that when we West Coasters go to Omao, go to Hawaii, we're like, oh, what do we do? Where's the traction? What do I do? And they're like, more throttle, bra, fourth gear. You're like, what? It doesn't make sense.
The most shocking thing I remember from Omao last year was watching Boogie go up a section, and it was just it wasn't even
The
like,
Wasabi Bowl?
no, it wasn't. No, that was sick too. But it wasn't even a sick section of the race. It wasn't even a feature. It was just a classic, slightly uphill creek with some roots in it, some dugout roots. And I remember I was walking by and he was in it. I was like, "Yeah, Boogie, like right on. You're the man." Cheering him on, watching him. And he gets up on this rock, doesn't make it, and just starts like burning out. And he's just sitting there in second or third gear, just like spinning on the rock, not going anywhere. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep walking. And then I hear shift up, yeah, clink, yeah. And he's in sixth gear doing a burnout, like fully just pin burnout. And then once he shifted into six, yeah, shift, and just fully tractored up this whole section.
Why?
And my jaw just dropped.
You're like, oh, these boys are playing a different game.
It was just burnout, yeah.
So crazy.
Just kept it pinned.
I think they dry out the rocks or something. I think they like, because when the rocks are super wet, they're like super slippery. So I think they just like try to dry them out maybe.
I don't know. It almost seemed like at a certain gear, when you're holding it open, it just finally has enough power to tractor over
Well,
it.
and you think that tire's got to be heating up too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Getting gummy, getting stickier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It worked for Boogie.
Is Boogie coming to all the races this year?
I hope so. I don't know.
Dude, it's time for him to move up, I think, right? Didn't he overall like the B class or something like 100 times last year?
I don't know. But he's the man regardless.
He's the man regardless. And his parents are super cool too.
It'll be interesting to see how good he does at Omao, because he's kind of getting to the point where he's doing really good in amateur class. And I think he's going to have a really good advantage obviously at Omao. I mean, he's not from Kauai though. He's from Oahu, I think. Right?
I don't know.
So that's kind of his home terrain. So I bet he's going to be pushing up there in the pros just because he has that advantage.
I wonder how. Yes, I think you're right as well. He'll be in the top 10, maybe. I mean, maybe top 15 or top 20. We'll see. I'm really curious to see how Tristan and Cody and Ryder are going to do the premieres in Hawaii, because last year it was not a premiere, so we didn't have the KTM boys, Tristan and Ryder. We pretty much had Cody, and then
James was there.
Stone was there, and then it was the Hawaiians, and the Hawaiians cleaned house on that first race. And then the second race, Cody rebounded and was able to get the win in that second one. But you know that those Hawaiians are looking at this opportunity to shine on their home turf, and they aren't going to want Tristan Hart to come in and smoke everybody. And they have their advantages. They got their tubeless. You know what I mean? I wonder if, that's where like the factory KTM, does Tristan have the flexibility to run something like that unique to be able to get the traction that he needs, or are they kind of married to their program and it's like, no, you can't run that?
Yeah, or go there ahead of time to practice, and also, like you said, give up the winning technology that Tristan's used for the past couple of years to go jeopardize it. Like, why not stick to what you know and what has never let you down before, with a perfectly soft moose to his spec and the spec Dunlop tire and whatever?
Well, I think that he's got their setup so dialed in over the years that I think that he could probably show up with his moose preparation and his tire, and I bet it would be pretty good, honestly, even against a tubeless. You know what I mean?
Isn't that what Cody did, though?
Cody ran a moose type thing. I think he ran moose balls at the first race, and then he softened it up more for the second race. So I'm not sure exactly what Cody ran at the second one. I think he just improved on his moose ball setup. But I think that anything can be set up to perform optimally for a period of time, right? Like a moose, for example, there's a window of when the moose is perfect and when the moose is past its due and before its prime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but they've got that window pretty dialed in, I think. The KTM boys, I think they've got that window pretty dialed in. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. He likes that pressure. He's excited for it.
Yep.
It's going to be sick. I mean, the fact that those three guys, Velo, Conaboy, and Ryder, beat Cody last year. One of the best dudes in the world. Is crazy. And,
it is.
And they're now they have the confidence
Totally
that they can beat Cody there.
They know that they can
and
win.
They're like, oh, if we can beat Cody there, no problem. We can beat Tristan there probably.
Dude, and Velo was riding so good there. Like, I mean, he rides that place as good as anybody ever has ever. Him and Ryder Guest and Conaboy. Like, those guys can ride that terrain as good as anybody. So, like, you know, not taking anything away from those guys, but they had that place. Like, he just looked so good at that race. It would be hard for anybody, anytime, anywhere, any setup to compete with that.
That's what we were saying. Like, imagine if Manny or Billy were there. They wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah,
that's
well,
what we were saying.
I don't know. You know, you would never know.
Mm-hmm.
But we're about to find out.
Yep.
We're about to find out. And then we got Cody on the Yamaha. That's going to be a whole different thing.
With the experience of going there last year.
Yep.
That has to play so much to his favor of he knows what to expect.
Totally.
Now he knows how to set up a tire maybe better, different tire, gearing, just the mental preparation. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Cody takes that into his advantage. Also, because if you're talking about championship, a win over Tristan there would be huge for his championship.
Would a win in Kauai be, but it wouldn't mean more than other races.
No, but it would just help out Cody's chance for a championship. Like, those guys were pretty tight last year.
And because of the technicality and his experience there, he's got a good shot at it.
Yeah.
And Cody won King of Motos last year.
Yeah.
So Cody's coming in with confidence. He knows he can win. My only worry with Cody is, you know, with the Yamaha program that he's on, you know, he's been putting tons of time into developing that bike and getting that thing race ready. Like, that's a real job. That's a lot of time in the shop, working on bikes, got Gator out in the shop, working on bikes. So has that kind of interfered with his ability to train and actually be prepared to race this event? I guess we'll find out. Cody's one of those guys that can operate at a high capacity too, and you can never count Cody out. He knows he can win. He knows how to win, and especially at a race like King of Motos that requires so much experience. He's really good with the GPS.
Yeah.
So, like,
he's been there, done that.
He's been there. He's done that. He's won that race before. So cannot count him out. He'd still be a safe bet for a win.
Yeah, 100%.
But then you got a guy like Tristan who's he's kind of like in his prime where he's got the GPSs figured out probably enough.
Yeah, he's won it before. He obviously
he's won it
knows
before.
How to win a race and win that race and
totally.
What to do. He's comfortable on the bike. He knows what the bike can do. He knows what he can do on the bike.
And he's a savage.
Yeah. Where it's going to be interesting to see if Cody's bike is. I feel like you learn so much from racing about your bike and what the bike can do from racing that you can't do in training.
Big time.
And you could probably speak on that more than me because I don't have much experience doing that. But to me, it just seems like after King of the Motos, he'll have a lot he'll want to do. Maybe. For
sure. No, I think that you're right. So I think Cody's probably going to learn a lot at King of Motos about how capable the YZ250 really is.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Like, it's not going to be a shot in the dark, but he's going to be like, all right, here we go. Let's see what happens.
Totally. I mean, and you can test, but when the green flag flies, everything is different always.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to get everything dialed in right away.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you improve throughout the season, and that's kind of the whole point. But you never try as hard in a race in practice as you do a race.
How do you think the kickstart's going to be?
Pain in the ass when he stalls.
Bro, imagine stalling on like a big hill climb in Grinding Stone or anywhere.
Yeah.
And having to teeter-totter over to that pull out that Kickstarter.
It's not going to be pretty. Or how many times has your rear tire been like sitting on a little ledge like so delicately,
God, yeah.
and you're like and then like if I kickstart this bike, it would make it go down the hill.
Or when you just hit the button and you're like, oh, or when you accidentally stall it and you can save it really quick by starting and you're like, thank God I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see if Will texts me. Nothing. Yeah, things are going to get interesting. So you got Tristan, same program, KTM, winning proven, and then we got some changes. Cody Webb on a Yamaha. That's exciting. Lots to look forward to there. Ryder LeBlond on the same Husky. This is kind of Ryder's chance. This year is sort of Ryder's chance to start getting those wins because he hasn't been getting wins. And I feel like this year will be a big opportunity for him to let's see what you've been doing. Where are you at?
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's no better time than now. Nothing's going to come save you. You have to get that win. And then you got Stone.
I'm super curious to see how Stone does this year. I mean,
Me too.
that dude's been growing and riding good and riding a lot. He won the fall championship last year, or this past fall. So I'm excited to see how he does. I feel like he's having more fun. It looks like he's having fun with it.
Well, every year that goes by, he gets a little bit more experience, and he's got guys like me telling him every day that, hey, bro, you just need to chill out a little bit and just have some fun, and you have to like this. It's not like a competition of who can work the hardest or hate, or just not hate, but
But it's hard enduro.
It's supposed to be hard.
It's supposed to be. It's hard enduro.
Hard enduro. Ha ha ha. Hard enduro. Who are we? Hard enduro. What do we do? Hard enduro.
Dented pipe, hard enduro.
Over the bars, hard enduro.
Single track, no. Flowy single track, no. Hard enduro.
Yeah, exactly. Actual fun, no. Hard enduro. Stone's got everything that he needs. He's fit. He's strong. His bike setup is great. He's on the beta.
He's getting older. He's getting smarter.
He's getting a little bit smarter. I think it's just those mental hurdles that he's going to have to get over to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If he wants to beat Cody and Tristan and Ryder consistently, he's going to have to work on that mental strength just a little bit to be able to make that happen.
Yeah. It was funny in one of the last Hard Enduro Burrow episodes that they did up in Vancouver Island. Tristan was yelling at him like, "Oh, like Stone, you want my job, don't you? Like you're coming for my job. Like you want my job, like don't you?" And Stone's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be pretty cool." Like he's totally coming for it, but he didn't want to tell him right away. Oh yeah, it'd be cool. I guess. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Stone is such a perfect name for him too. I like it.
Yeah, he's the man.
He is the man.
So, you think it's Ryder's year? Ryder's time to shine.
I think I think this year is a good opportunity for him to shine. I think he can do well if he does. I think that 2025 I don't think I wonder if it's a contract year for him. Contract year usually brings the best out in you. You know what I mean? You start trying harder and shit. All of a sudden, like, oh, I don't got to ride next year. I got to win or I'm off the team.
Yeah.
That usually helps.
Also, it could be a little bit of advantage, Cody's new program to him, because they're usually second or third or something.
Exactly.
If Will's not in that, it's usually Cody or Ryder battling for second or third, and Cody's on a different program. So depending on how that goes, that could be an advantage to Ryder.
Totally. And let's not count out Will Reardon. Obviously, I haven't heard anything from him on what he's doing next year, but with Cody off the Sherco team.
But he's shown up to King of the Motos. Yeah, he said he was going.
Did he?
Will.
I'm guessing that he's going to show up, and if he does, I would have to predict that it's on a blue bike. You got to think Cody's off the Sherco team, so then they got Cooper. Oh, let's not forget about Cooper.
Yeah.
Cooper Abbott is getting better and better every year.
Off an insane enduro cross year. He's racing super enduros right now.
Yep. He's got lots of momentum. I think, will he have enough preparation time to be ready by King of Motos? We'll see. But Will Reardon is also one of those young up-and-coming guys where he needs to make some stuff happen too. So whatever bike he is on, if he shows up, he'll be a threat, and he'll be a top 5 guy for sure.
Yeah, he got a couple podiums last year.
Yeah, and he's solid, and he's Australian, so it's like you can never count an Aussie out.
Yeah, and he's pissed because he's probably pissed because he doesn't have his gas deal anymore. Like how brutal would that be?
Brutal.
To be factory gas for a year and then dropped.
Brutal.
Like you finally have made it.
Yeah.
And then, oh, sorry, we're pulling it.
Yeah, that's the industry. I mean,
I think he can use that to his advantage and ride pissed to prove a point. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I think that would be good.
It'd be sick for him to do that.
It would be. Yep. So, yeah, I think we have an exciting year ahead of us.
It's always so cool seeing how all those guys are friends, but also like Ryder and Will are battling for the next spot and for the next main spot, it seems like. And like they're all homies and ride together and buddies, but that's got to be pretty gnarly knowing like you have to beat that dude to decide who's getting the KTM Husky or gas.
Well, I mean, look at like a Eli Tomac or Colton Haker. When I did my pod with Colton, he was like, dude, when I was racing and being dominant in the Endurocross series, like I wasn't really trying to be buddy with Taddy Blazuziak and Cody Webb. He's like, that did not help me at the race weekends. He's like, and the goal is to win. So he's like, so I see like the buddiness between all the guys, and I think it's cool that there's like that camaraderie. I know like Tristan and Will are really good buddies, and like everybody's really good friends, and I'm like, I think it's great. I really do, because I'm friends with them too. But I don't know if it serves them the best when it comes race day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's almost like breeding a little hatred helps. You know what I mean? Like this guy's got something. This guy's trying to take what I have. Type of mentality.
Like look at Deegan during heat races, putting his teammates like into corners or like being aggressive with them, and it's like, as you should. You're both on the same team.
Yeah,
but it's still an individual sport.
Yeah, I think people are scared of people not liking them, and there's an element of Deegan that just doesn't care, and people think say he's like a punk or whatever negative things people have to say about Hayden Deegan, but at the same time, it's like, dude, he's out doing it. I mean, he's winning races. He doesn't really care about like the popular opinion. He's willing to say stuff at the press conferences, and as somebody that's a fan of the sport, like that's what I want to see. I want to see sick. People that don't care or that are willing to say something controversial or whatever. Like I don't expect these guys to be perfect all the time. We're all just humans, and we're all just having fun. So it's like, it's cool to see somebody that's like actually having fun, because it's so filled with like boring interviews and like regular old like robot stuff, and not that you have to have like this big personality to like get acceptance from the people, but like having something to give the people is nice.
I feel like from the riders aspect, for the racers aspect, there's so many eyes on it from the social presence. They don't want to be the guy to voice an opinion that might be controversial, because since it'll get seen by so many people, it could get blown. Like they're scared of it. You could be scared of it getting blown out of hand, taking it too far. Oh shit, is that something was that passing the line? So I get it. They don't want to be the one to be the next guy on
totally
in the spotlight of saying something bad.
Well, and also people can take anything out of context, and then it looks terrible a lot of times.
And how much sponsors care about social platforms and their views on everything now. I mean, that goes into hand now too. So, if you're saying something bad if you're being all political or talking bad or just being an idiot on social media, you might not get signed by the same guy next year.
True. But you could also
use that to your advantage.
You can also, be a little bit controversial and get 10 times the amount of views and subscribers or whatever it is than everybody else. And then sponsors. Now you're an asset to those sponsors.
10x the sponsors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of sponsors, I wanted to ask you a little bit about like what riders, athletes, and other people like yourself can do to like bring deliverables to these companies, because I think a lot of athletes will like overpromise or make these agreements with these sponsors, and then sponsors will ask them to do a certain amount of things like reels and this and that. But it takes a lot of work to actually deliver those things to your sponsors. So unless you have like a really dialed program and a plan on how you're actually going to execute it, that may not work for everybody. But what can like athletes and people like you do to either increase their value to sponsors or be able to actually make some money through the content?
I think the big part is just being the ambassador of the brand. I guess it depends on what their contract is, right? I mean, KTM's paying Tristan to win, so that's all he needs to do. If he wins, they're happy. He does his job. But there's only one of those positions available. So if you're not that guy,
Right.
or you're not those two guys that have the option to do that, you need to think outside the box and find out how you can get paid to be a third, fourth, fifth, sixth place guy, because there's money to be made. And I think that's where it becomes becoming an ambassador of the brand. So many people look to people using products that they trust. It's the same as reviews. Like if you go to a restaurant, like you look at reviews every restaurant you go to. If it's got, I hear Spice talking, saying if it has a 4.2 or under, she's not going.
Yeah. 4.7 and up is required, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So even.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
even
do a
more cutthroat.
4.5 if they have a lot of reviews.
Yeah, that's a number of reviews is good too.
Yeah, you have to think number of reviews because there's bound to be a few Karens in there.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed.
But also, if it's 5 stars with 5 reviews, that's a little weird too.
It can be.
Can be.
It can be. Usually that means they're a startup and they're hurting for your business and they want to do a good job. I went to this African restaurant in
Everett.
In Everett. Did I tell you about
Yeah.
that? And they had good stars. I think it was 5 stars, barely any reviews. I'm like, let's go. And the food was insane. It was insane.
Yeah. This is an off topic. I don't want to go down this, but that is another reason of why restaurants and services in Mexico are so good. Because if a restaurant in Mexico, say like wherever you're dirt biking at or in town, does a bad job and gives you crappy food, you're never going there again. Like they are relying on you're going to come back and you're going to bring friends and tell friends. So they get the opportunity to kind of make or break their future.
Totally.
So they always go out of the park and make sure they do a good job. But back to the content side, if you're not getting paid to win, you need to produce something that of value to the brand or to whoever's paying you, right? Say it's a clothing company or a bike brand, like what you're doing with Beta. It makes riding a Beta look so enjoyable by not only seeing cool videos, but seeing what the bikes can do, doing fun stuff, riding the e-bike. And I think being relatable to the public is such a high, is such a positive that you can use for your advantage. Being relatable and being able to talk to the public and
being authentic.
Being authentic to the average guy. Like if the average guy can understand you and what you're doing, which you do a good job at, that's very valuable. I guess in my field, I'm helping out people and brands on the content side, if that's content for marketing. And a lot of it will be marketing content for the brand directly to run their own ads, but it's also content for the athletes to run their ads about products they're like. And that gets back to the point where people look for reviews. They want to ride what Max and all the pros are riding.
Right. So when they get a stamp of approval from Tristan Hart,
Yep.
then it's like, oh, this is what he is this stuff is Haas certified.
Yep. Yeah. So me and Tristan did a thing for Pod a couple months ago, Pod's new knee brace. And, Tristan's like, this new knee brace is sick. I've been wearing them for a bit. Like I want to make them a little ad. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's do it. Get some banger riding clips, get some shots of him putting on the pod, a couple clips of him talking about it. Super easy, fast cut, short, 30-second. Fast cuts are important. You need to keep the viewer's attention.
Vertical for Instagram.
Yeah. Filming a vertical is a big one too. Because most cameras you film horizontal, right? Like all like Hard Enduro recaps or anything, you're filming them horizontal because that's for YouTube main platform. So it kind of gets weird about if something's going to be strictly for social platforms like
Right.
Instagram or Facebook.
Right.
You want to film vertical, your framing's better, you get the full frame of your camera, quality's better because you don't have to crop in. And I like shooting super tight to the guy. So if you shoot horizontal enough to do that, you're just like blowing out wheels or blowing heads off and it's no good.
Exactly.
So I always like to figure out, is this going to be Instagram only, YouTube, and a little bit of Instagram? Like what's the main focus? And then I'll kind of judge it by there. But so for Tristan's thing, he was like, yeah, it's only Instagram. I'm like, perfect. We'll film it vertical. It'll be way more fun to film. Stays way cleaner. And so we just made a fun little reel. Like quick cuts, keeps the viewers engaged. Pod liked it. Pod was super stoked on it. Tristan was stoked on it. Win-win. So quick cuts, short. Need to keep the viewer engaged. Like just if you don't want to watch it, no one else is going to want to watch it.
Yep.
So it needs to be quick.
So it has to be entertaining too.
It's super tricky because in a lot of ways, and I just figured this out probably a half year ago. You need to just start right into it. You like a lot of times you think like, oh, I want to start with build up, start it slow and then ramp it up. But if it starts off slow, you're going to scroll in 2 seconds and say like, and I've done this too, like first couple seconds are slow, but then the middle of it is juicy and it's a banger. You just need to cut off those first couple seconds and start it from that middle section. Because if it's not interesting and it's slow in the first couple seconds, half the people aren't going to watch it.
Start with the banger.
It doesn't matter. I still am such a fan of things ramping up and starting slow and drawing engagement and stuff. But I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Well, with Instagrams, it's just because it's more of that instant gratification or more of a quick type of like, content source. People aren't really in it for long videos. They're not really watching. If they're watching a YouTube video, they're watching a video that's going to be more than 5 minutes long. But if they're watching an Instagram video, they're expecting that to be between 3 seconds and 20 seconds.
And the first 3 seconds decide if they're going to watch the last 20 seconds.
Exactly.
So I've kind of switched my style around to make the first couple seconds super interesting. And then you already have that guy watching. You can kind of draw on the last 20 seconds because if they're already watching that far in, they're a fan of it. They want to see everything. So you can kind of please them. It's like they get rewarded for watching the whole thing by seeing like the whole clip or something like that.
That's why short clips can be so juicy too, or go so viral, is because people actually watch the entirety of the clip. And I think that when you watch the 100% of the clip, that's what like feeds the algorithm, I feel like. So then it shows it to more and more and more people, and then everybody watches it, and then it kind of like gets this momentum. But if you have too long of a video, even if it's a 15 or 20-second long video, not nearly as many people are going to watch that full clip.
Yeah.
So it's like it almost kind of gets rid of that virality. Not entirely, obviously, because if it's really good, but
it does though, because Instagram knows people are swiping, and if people are swiping and not finishing it,
they're not. It's going to die.
It's going to die. They're not going to promote it. But if people are watching it over and over again, they're going to promote it more. Also, comments help, engagement.
Comments help.
Shares.
Yep.
Send it to your buddies.
Yep.
That helps a lot.
Well, that's where like YouTube can be good too, right? Because like it's a different type of content. Or talking about dying videos. You post a video on Instagram, even if it goes viral or does pretty well, it still dies like a week later. Mm-hmm. It just gets buried in your feed, and it'll accumulate views, or maybe it'll get another run. But for the most part, that video is buried and it's kind of dead. Where
you forget about it.
Where like YouTube, your videos live on into
existence.
Live on into eternity, and they will continue to pick up views. And as you pick up more subscribers, they'll go into your old videos and watch your old videos and stuff like that. And especially if you're making videos that are like timeless videos, like how to ride a dirt bike, people will watch that video. New riders will watch that video forever. Mm-hmm. So, or like how to clean a carburetor, like these how-to videos. These are the types of videos that will get more and more. But there's different ways to do that as well. But there's, I don't know. I think for me personally, I think YouTube is like a little bit more my lane, more the type of content that I like to put out. But it is nice when you have a sick Instagram clip.
Yeah, there's a time and the place for both. I mean, look at it from a company or brand standpoint. If you're paying for a reel or a video, or for an ad, or for you're paying someone to make a video or to be in the video, you're getting way more bang for your buck doing a YouTube video than an Instagram video, because it's going to last forever, and the viewership, the period of time the person's watching is 10x Instagram.
Exactly.
So they're getting paid for someone to watch 2 minutes of what their service or product is, rather than 5 seconds.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's cheaper from the company standpoint for a YouTube video rather than Instagram. But it's also then, how many views is this YouTube going to get versus how many views this video on Instagram could potentially go viral and blow up.
But what's really hard is to associate a brand with a viral video. Like, it's not usually the brand advertisements that are going viral.
Mm-hmm.
It's not usually those videos. That's why, like, brand integration I find is really important, where, like, for me personally, like, POV footage, getting those brands visible via my POV footage. So, like, even when I'm riding, I'll post a 45-minute long riding video and their brand is being
shown the whole time organically.
So,
it's not like in the corner
organically
logo.
Yeah, exactly, organically. So, and these are obviously Haas certified brands only, so that's where just like having that brand recognition, and then if one of those clips works out good, and then it could go viral, like if I did something crazy on a bike, and that could be an Instagram clip that goes viral, those guys have their coverage.
Your course preview from Grinding Stone's street race last year went viral. Remember that?
No.
It was a course preview.
Was that when I was on the Stark?
Yeah. I think all the Stark stuff did really good.
Yeah.
But it was Grinding Stone street race course preview. And it was you just talking about the obstacles. And we did a little short for Instagram, and it totally blew up. And you probably had a bar pad with Max Off-Road, Climb.
Probably not on the Stark because they have a computer on the handlebars.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So I didn't get to hook my people up.
Non-Haas certified. Is the Stark Haas certified?
I think the Stark is Haas certified. They're pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I've ridden Spennies in Canada before. It was super sick.
What's crazy is the wheel speed. So like at Page, the sand, like hitting those built up bushes, those mounds of those bushes, you could just come out to that thing and give it full throttle like right before it, and the wheel speed just makes it so that thing could just explode up and over. It just jump. It is just really the electric power. You have to ride it differently, but you can get away and do different things on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me personally, like still when it comes to like a full hard enduro ride or just like adventuring and just having like a do it all, a Beta 300 is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, you fill it up with gas, you ride it. I mean, in terms of maintenance and stuff, obviously there's gonna be more maintenance, but the Stark for me would be an addition to my fleet of gas bikes.
It'd be a fun bike.
It'd be a fun bike.
They're
it wouldn't
heavy.
be my only, but it could be people's only.
Mm-hmm. One thing I really liked about it, so with a gas bike, you can tell your traction based off your RPM. Like if you're grunting up a big hill or a hill climb or something that's loose, hard, you can tell if you're getting the traction you need by the RPM. You tell if it's spinning or not.
Yeah.
With the Stark, you don't have that. But what you have is you can hear the rubber tire gripping or spinning on roots, rocks, or grass.
It's wild.
Like I remember I was pretty constant throttle and we're going through rocks and grass and loose dirt, and it would spin on the rocks and then it would hook up, or it'd spin on the dirt, hook up on the rock, and you could hear it like the traction, the knob stick.
It's weird.
And pull over the material.
So crazy.
So that was cool.
That is cool. It's definitely like a green version of riding a dirt bike. You know what I mean? It's like
eco.
That silence definitely offers something different. I don't think it's exciting to watch in races, like all that arena cross that they've been doing on the Starks and stuff like that.
Imagine if Supercross it was all electric.
It wouldn't be as cool.
Wouldn't be as cool.
Because dude, that's the sickest thing about Supercross. Like Monica, my chick, like she's never been to a Supercross race before, and we're like so stoked for Glendale this year because I'm like, we are going because it's like it's so gnarly, and you don't even have to understand a lot about anything to watch Supercross and be like, whoa, this is cool. Mm-hmm. 30 guys on a starting gate, 450 engines. It is insane.
That goes back to the noise thing. With the Stark, as the rider, you know what it's doing, like how you would hear a gas bike. But for someone watching from a stands, you don't get that. So when you're watching a Stark hit a section on a Supercross track, as if you're watching the stands, you don't know what they're doing. You just see them go up in there and land and go up in there. But if you're at the stands, watch a Supercross race, and here comes Eli Tomac, you hear him. You know exactly what he's doing. Yeah. You know exactly what he's doing.
Bouncing that 450 off that rev limiter, riding that thing to the potential.
And that's what makes it exciting to watch.
Totally.
Like if a Stark blew past them, it wouldn't even be that sick.
Right. You'd be like, what? What is that? Is that a rocket ship? And dude, they're fat. Like they're incredible bikes. And I think the right guy in a Stark could pretty much win any race right now. I mean, I don't think that they're giving anything up. I think the electric power is insane. Like,
yeah.
But dude, yeah, you're not gonna get that same experience as a fan. You're not gonna get the same experience with electric bikes as you are those gas bikes. Like it's just impossible. Dude, did you see that clip about Eli Tomac talking about his clutch the other day?
So good. Cody sent me it.
Cody sent you that?
He was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to go back to a cable clutch." He was like, "What have I done?"
Tomac was saying
he was joking, but he was like kind of joking.
But there's a point, but he does have a point.
So you want to tell him what the video was?
Tomac was saying on a Gypsy Tales podcast, which loves Gypsy Tales, shout out to those guys. He was saying that the worst invention that of all time is a hydraulic clutch. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the feel. You can't feel the motor the same way that you can with a cable clutch. And Tomac like highly prefers the cable clutch, will not run a hydro clutch, and just because of the feel. And he was saying responsiveness, yeah, exactly. And he said that he got off the face. He actually slips the clutch off the face of the jumps, which I kind of do that too. And I was wondering if I didn't really know if you're not supposed to do that. But yeah, he definitely does it. And Cody Webb on the Yamaha, I wonder what his perspective would be on that. As a trials rider,
the clutch?
Yeah, Cody as a trials rider, a guy that's got like some of the best
clutch control in
the world's ever seen.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to see what his opinion is on the cable clutch on the Yamaha. And I mean, what's the real advantage of a hydraulic clutch?
Easier to pull, but
a properly set up cable clutch can be pretty dang easy.
You think so for a 4-hour hard?
Totally. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just they can be pretty a properly lubed and properly set up one like that's all dialed in is like not bad.
Do you think in hard enduro there's higher risk for air with the cable clutch? Like say a stick pulls it out, or you fall and it stretches, or something like. I mean, actually the same thing. I've actually with a hydraulic clutch.
Totally. So. I popped a hydraulic line one time because my motor got too hot and it melted the line, and then I blew a hydraulic clutch, and then I didn't have any clutch going down this canyon at King of Motos actually the night before a race.
You wouldn't burn a cable.
Yeah, you wouldn't burn a cable. So the cable can be more, and people overheat hydraulic clutches all the time, and then they lose their clutch.
I did in Takati.
Yeah, and you have to. Did you?
For a little bit on the third loop.
And you have to wait to go again. So I can definitely see the argument for that. After that video comes out, watch. People start making cable clutch conversion kits for KTMs and betas and shit.
With a YZ part number.
Yeah. I would try it.
Yeah.
Just see what it's all about. See what all the fuss is about.
What if it was way better? Like just way more perfect?
Then I would have to get 6 more of them because I got like 7 bikes in the shop right now.
So I think Cody was saying he's going to have a race bike. He's racing at King of the Motos, I think, his hydraulic clutch bike, which he's loving.
And that's the one without the kick, without the electric
e-starter.
Yeah.
And then he has another one with a stock cable clutch and the e-starter. I guess if you do the 2 kits together, it doesn't work.
I mean, I would be, after that Eli Tomac clip, I'd be inclined to go electric starter, cable clutch.
You think he's going to have an advantage on starts with a Kickstarter?
With dead engine starts?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it doesn't matter because
starts don't matter in a hard enduro.
Especially at King of Motos where it's all GPS, these guys are going to follow each other for the first lap anyway.
Yeah.
My prediction is that guys are going to battle for the lead, but they're also going to give it up happily as well the first whole half of the race because the front guy is going to be making enough mistakes following that GPS where those guys will be able to capitalize on all those mistakes. So it's going to be kind of a slow race the first lap, and then the final lap, however the format is, I don't really know how their format is this year, but then the final lap, they're going to all explode and go for it, and they're going to have to really rely on getting those final sections on their GPS.
So someone is going to make a break. Someone needs to make a break to get away from the pack.
Exactly.
To get out of sight.
Well, and if it's added in sections, they'll know most of the course before they get to those added in sections. So it can be a little bit more of a battle. That's where King of Motos is kind of unique, is like the race kind of starts off kind of mellow and then it ramps up and
Yeah.
it gets the pace kind of gets faster and faster as the race goes on.
Like you don't want to just go off the wall at the start,
No.
pull a big lead and get lost, get tired. There's so much that could happen.
Well, if you can pull a lead, that's ideal. If you can read your GPS fast enough and you can get a lead, like that's
and
great.
you're saying just get out of sight right away.
Yeah.
Like just try to put a hard charge in the beginning and hope that you can chill the rest of the race in the lead.
Yeah.
And hope someone else doesn't start a hard charge and catch
But it's
you halfway.
really hard to do that and not get lost and not make mistakes. Like the GPS is a real problem. I mean, it's another element.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
think of that guy in front trying to make a charge. The dude behind him is just as fast, and he doesn't need to use his GPS.
Exactly. He's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's what's so cool about Hard Enduro and all these different races. There's so many different formats and so many different strategies you can use.
totally.
For you, against you. It's such a cool type of racing.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot, and the diversity of the terrain.
Like
we
it's
talked
just
about.
not all balls to the wall the whole time.
No. That's where I kind of got turned away from like Works and NGPC and those types of races when I was younger. Nothing against those races. If that's what you like, that's what you like. Like the Dante brothers, the Oliveira brothers, those guys love that shit. They love clapped out sand races and motocross and shit. Like those guys are gnarly. Like they love it. That fourth gear off the back of the bike through the whip, swapping out like this. Like I don't care, dude. Like those guys don't care. They love it. But like somebody like me, I'm like, I don't know if I really like that. Like I want something where I can explore a little bit, or like something with like a little bit more dynamic type of skill set or more margin for error. Maybe that's not the word, but I don't know. I think
it's just more thinking. It's more thought process. And that's for me, like why I liked enduro and hard enduro so much from being a new rider. It was everything I liked from my skateboarding and photography career meshed together. You know, I had skateboarding that was my adrenaline and, oh my gosh, I'm going to jump down this flight of stairs. Hopefully I land it, or else I'm going to break an ankle. Like that's the adrenaline. And then the photography was the more thinking side of it, where how am I going to set up the shot? The Milky Way aligns here. I need to wait for this hour. That was like all mental, you know, look up tide calendars, look up moon phase, look up sun direction, what angle, what degree the sun's going to set at. There's so many things. It all meshed together in hard enduro. You have adrenaline going into precise ability and using the sport. Like, can I get traction up this rock? But if I go too quick, my tire's going to slip off and it's going to go down the hill. So it was everything formed to one.
Totally. How do you reckon the moto crowd, like the hard enduro people, compare with the skateboarders?
More supportive. Hard enduro people are more like dirt bike. I guess just hard enduro people are more supportive. I feel like since it's such a small thing, not small thing, but since hard enduro isn't that big in mainstream, everyone is so supportive and everyone's on the same page trying to make it bigger and for it to grow. They're happy to go out. It's a funny comparison against surfing. You know, you go ride dirt bikes with your buddies and see people out on the trails. Yeah, how's it going? Right on. You see people at King of the Motos that you don't even know. Everyone's talking. Everyone's exciting. You go surf. Everyone's being quiet. No one's talking to each other because there's limited resources. There's only a couple waves coming in per 10 minutes, and they're only breaking in a certain place. So you're fighting with everyone else in the lineup. Like everyone in the lineup, you're kind of all going for that one. You're competing for one wave. In dirt biking, the land's kind of unlimited.
It's all the wave, baby.
Yeah. Everyone's on the wave. The only
rule is that everything gets ridden.
Yeah. So no barrel dodging.
Barrel dodging?
I don't know. But yeah, so with the skateboarding crowd, like what's also a different comparison is skateboarding's much more of a lifestyle than a sport. And I think that's because you get recognized for skateboarding based off your lifestyle and what you wear and how you act and what else you do. Dirt bikers only get recognized for their ability on the bike. And I think that's a lot because for dirt biking, you put on a helmet and goggles, and you got your sponsors and your logos on your gear. You don't get seen. You don't see the public doesn't see your face.
Right.
They only see what you do on the bike.
Right.
And they see what gear you're on. Skateboarding, you know what the guy looks like. You know what he wears. You like someone for maybe what he wears or how he acts.
His lifestyle,
his style.
how he walks, whatever.
Yeah. His swang and his step.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a lot more of like a lifestyle sport, which I wish dirt biking had more of, because there's so many cool people in it that it's harder to get seen because it only gets seen at races and you don't get the chance to express that at races.
How could we make hard enduro? How could we incorporate lifestyle and culture into the sport of hard enduro?
Well, I think what Blake's doing is doing it. Stuff what Blake is doing, he's taking the hard enduro guys, not in a race environment, riding them with their friends, filming them, laughing with their friends, talking about sections. I think it's just doing more things with them, non-race related. So riding for fun, doing other stuff. I think more off-helmet experiences are better. So that's what we've been trying to do more with the series too, like the interviews, like with the how hard was it, and just other stuff like that. The more you can get athletes out of the helmet talking, the more people can start to relate to them.
Totally.
The more they become, the more they like you. Like look at you. Like people come up to you and are talking about you and your podcast and asking you for pictures because how approachable you are, probably because they know how you act and they see how you act without a helmet on.
True.
And know what you look like.
But I've had to put so much effort into putting that out there too, right? Like
that's tough.
I mean, but that's my contribution to the sport. That's why I started this podcast.
Also, with skateboarding and dirt bikers are getting paid to win races or to compete. So they don't really need to do anything extra. Skateboarders, there's competition for sure, but you aren't getting signed by a brand to compete in a skate competition. It's kind of like extra. It's another like avenue. Before, you get paid to skate, to make cool videos with your friends and just skate. You got paid based off
videos,
how you looked, your style, and making videos. So that's where it was just so much more relatable because you were legitimately just getting paid to do that. So that's how it's different.
That's kind of what YouTube is, right? Like if you're a hard enduro guy and you can just make sick videos, like
100%.
That's what's sick about YouTube is like it's almost like your own personal TV channel. And like I could put whatever I want up here, and this is just my life. And what else is cool about it is like, for me at least, like with doing the podcast and doing all the writing and stuff that I'm doing, posting on YouTube and doing the podcast, I'm almost incentivized naturally to like live my best life. Like, let's go do a fun riding trip to Page and film it and then post it. And once I do that, then my sponsors are stoked because of this cool content. I get better, bigger, more advertising, affiliate marketing deals, basically selling advertising for my videos. As the YouTube channel goes, you start getting a little bit of money from there. Still pretty small time right now, but we're working on it, baby. And it's like, now I'm almost incentivized to like live my best life. So now during the week, I'm like, well, I could go work something. I could go hang some sheetrock for a day, or I could go make a sick video. And will the return be the same? Probably not, but at least I'm creating value in what I'm doing. At least I'm creating value for my little TV channel, my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and that goes back to what we always talk about, how being motivated about doing what you like and being motivated to do it is so valuable.
Bro. That's why I always appreciate people that have done something that they want to do. Like, that's my best piece of advice to people. Like, you have to do what you're compelled to do. You have to do what you want to do to create a life that's worth living. Like, take you, for example, you liked photography, and then this path of photography and your passion for photography led you into, how can I do this better? And then you got a dirt bike and you're like, oh, what the heck is this dirt bike thing? And then you started to really like that. So really it's like a convergence of two passions. And then now it's like, as long as you can make enough money to like have a good life, and I think that you're well on your way to like having a really good, successful career, especially in this industry. But it almost doesn't even matter as much because it's like you're doing something that you're like, you're not in a mindset of needing to escape a job to be able to go do what you're passionate about because you're always doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you were just doing it that day that you went riding with Mojo in the mountains and he connected you with Anson. If you didn't take that riding day with Mojo in the mountains and you were doing the safe job, that thing or whatever.
None of this would have happened.
If you're hanging sheetrock in the first place, then none of that would have ever happened. So you have to do what you want to do. It's a bigger risk for somebody to not do what they want to do.
100%.
So, and that's where that's why I wanted to have you on. Cause like, I feel like you're a little bit of a bad boy in that way. You know what I'm talking about?
A little bit.
Where like you're going to do what you want to do. And I think that you could be a source of inspiration for a lot of people out there that like don't really know what they want or what they want to do. And it's like, start with something that you kind of like.
It's tough though, because I mean, I guess everyone's in the same boat. It's such an easy thing to say, well, I don't have any skill like that I could do to make money off of. It's like, well, you're only saying that because you can't think of it right now.
Well, you have to learn too.
Nobody
comes with a skill.
Yeah. I got my skill at photography because I was interested into it. And then you push to learn, trial and error. Same thing with your YouTube, same thing with dirt biking. It's just trial and error and that motivation to learn and to better yourself in it. And yeah, like getting to do what you want. When I first started taking photos and doing the regional stuff for the Hard Enduros, it was crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid a little bit to go do this. If I don't have, it's like, and I've thought about this before, if you don't get paid ever in your life, but you get to do everything that you're happy and want to do for free with zero cost, say food's included, lodging's included, everything's included, you almost don't, and you could do that for every single day and you're happy doing it for every single day, you almost don't need $1 because what do you need the money for? If you got your lodging taken care of and your dirt bike and your joy and expenses.
And the experience led to this joy and fulfillment.
So it's like, well, I'm saving money, I'm doing what I like, and I'm not spending money. So
200%.
It's a cool thing. It's grown me so much being around you guys the past couple of years and getting to just learn the ins of you. I think one of the most valuable parts for me is becoming closer to guys like you or Tristan or Cody and Matt and Josh. Like being around high caliber people like that has taught me so many valuable life lessons in how to act and just a different aspect on life. So that's like one of the coolest takeaways I get from it, just getting around to getting to be around so many cool people.
Inspirational, cool people. It's like, it's hard to fail when you're surrounded by
100%
by hard chargers.
Yeah.
You know, and and that goes back to the old saying, show me the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with and I'll show you your future. Bro, it is so true. If you hang around people that are just like negative all the time, always complaining about their life, not changing anything, but also complaining about their life, or just kind of stuck in or whatever, if you're hanging around those types of people, that mindset, that will lead you a certain way down life. And if you hang out with people, for me, Haas certified people, like Taylor Robert was a big training partner of mine for like the majority of my career. And that guy is such a hard charger and so inspirational. And it was almost hard for me to not be successful if I was just doing what that guy was doing. And it's so true. And then it's like, and then it kind of gets to a point where you start to understand like, oh, it's like a different mindset that these guys have. Like these guys are choosing the life that they want.
Yeah.
Like they're not just taking every opportunity because they're actually choosing what they want to do in life.
Yeah.
And that's like a different type of like trust in the process and confidence thing. And that's like the next step is like really choosing what you actually want, not just taking what the best opportunity is necessarily. And then, yeah.
And getting those bits from so many different types of people.
Yeah.
Seeing how everyone in that same area is similar, but yet different. Like I loved going to Anson's after 6 days, like I just go up there and hang out and we'd make some cool videos for a week or something. And it was so cool seeing his lifestyle and how I'd be like, it's 6 a.m., like sun's barely up. And I'm like, what's this rap music going on in the shop? And he's in there grinding, working out, and getting back. And we're riding at 8 a.m. And he'll be in his gym working out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're working out before we're going riding. He's like, yeah, like if I want to race and win, this is what I got to do.
That's where like deciding what you want to do and then not negotiating with yourself anymore is like such a thing.
Yeah.
Like there's some guys, and I'm not the best at this, but like obviously it sounds like Anson is, or like
before or after, like either before ride or after ride, he'd go in the gym and work out.
That's pretty savage.
Yeah.
That's pretty savage, dude. I don't like going to the gym, honestly. I'd rather go like do fun stuff. I'd rather like play on a slack line or like see how far I can throw a rock or something.
Yeah. He'll do the death bike.
The what?
Death bike. Like
this thing?
Yeah. With the fan. It's like a hard enduro on a stand.
I've been doing sprints every Tuesday, you know what I'm saying, on the ski erg. So I'm getting a little bit of work in. It's off season, but I'm still training. I'm still trying to keep it tight, but
it's that mindset.
It's that mindset
where I was like, these are what these guys are doing. This high caliber guy is doing this because he just doesn't hope he's going to win and going to try to win. He's going to win, or just he's living his life to win.
Well, and he's decided that these goals mean a lot to him. His goal is to do this, 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 and this. And when you reverse engineer those goals, getting up every day and doing a workout in the shop at 6 p.m. is just part of the building blocks that's going to get you to those goals.
Yep.
And if you don't do the building blocks, you're not going to reach your goals. And that's where...
And it's like, how can I implement that same idea into what I want to do?
Totally.
And to reach my goals. So that's why it's been cool hanging around. I mean, I've learned so much from Matt about that too. Like staying up late and cranking out edits sucks, but the time is now to get it done, and you got to get it done.
Sometimes you just got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do it. It is a mindset thing. I feel that's why a lot of my coaching comes down to like mindset stuff, because I feel like if you're not taking on that growth mindset, like that ability to learn and like figure out what you want and move forward and like be 100% real with yourself about what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, how you can improve. I feel like a lot of people get lost in the ego and lost in like the I already have it dialed in, like I'm good mindset. But meanwhile, the whole time they're thinking that, there's like this massive list of things going on that they could learn and be improving on, but their ego's in the way. So I see ego being a big problem with that too. But if you can get the mindset right, and get your mindset right. Like I see these, for example, this is kind of off topic, but mindset. I get these guys that come up to me and like, hey man, I want to come to one of your clinics because I suck at logs.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, you've just decided that you suck at logs because you tried one 3 times and it didn't go well? Let's change your mindset, bro.
Yeah.
Like you need to learn logs. How can you format your inner dialogue where it serves you? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not easy to pay attention to your thoughts and think about what you're thinking about and try to change that. It's not easy. It's not an easy process, but if you can do it and then you start creating a life that is working for you instead of happening to you, you can almost reach it. It's a very liberating feeling.
Yeah. I feel like for me, kind of coming into the hard enduro scene, I was so stoked to be there. I was kind of wanting to do whatever it takes to learn and to get better. So you would tell me stuff I'd learn, listen, and want to do better. And I never had a mindset of I'm the best, I know what I'm doing. So it was always a mindset of how can I improve? What if I do this? What if I do that? And it was always just taking little bits of everything from anybody or any direction to mesh it into something, a way or a video or a photo that made sense and I thought was good.
Totally.
I learned a lot from you about listening, how listening is so much more valuable than talking. And that really hit me because not only are you listening to the person instead of talking, but you're respecting them. So then you get that I'm respecting you. And it's a sense of satisfaction. Like when when I'm talking to you and you're listening to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy cares what I'm talking about. He's not talking over me or telling him how he won that race and how he's the pro dirt biker and I'm just a kid. Like he cares what I'm saying. So that's something cool I've taken away from you.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's something that I consciously decided to work on.
Yeah.
One time, like I think, at some point in my past and currently I'm still working on this, but like I wrote down like, listen to understand what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to just listen to understand, not to respond. And I think that like getting that into my head helped me a lot of like if someone has a problem or just wants to discuss something, trying to understand where they're truly coming from is like really, really valuable. Instead of just like assuming that you know what they're talking about and then like finishing their sentence for them or whatever, like let them finish their sentence. I read a book called Never Split the Difference. Have I told you about this book?
I don't think so.
I'll get it for you. It's
cool.
Really good. It like kind of changed my perspective on a few things and gave me some tools, some really good communication tools for everything in my life, relationships, sponsors, whatever. Every relationship that I have in my life, it gave me some very useful tools. I'll get you a copy because it's so worth it.
Nice.
But I learned a lot from that book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. This guy's like an FBI hostage negotiator. And he this is my shit.
Might be Willie.
Oh, it's Ryder.
Oh. See what he has to say.
Should we just take it real quick? Ryder.
Uncle Max.
Hey, big guy. What's happening?
Not much. Just pulled in here up at Johnson Valley.
Oh, sick.
Airbnb all by myself. I'm kind of scared.
So you're there early. You're kind of scared.
Kinda scared.
Yeah, I had to call Uncle Max.
Well, make sure that you got your knife that we got at the art show in Coeur d'Alene with you.
Make a little fire too.
Get into my room.
You left it in your room?
Make a fire so it doesn't get cold.
Well, hey, I'm actually in the studio right now. I'm ripping a podcast with Ryan McCasland right now.
Oh, are you in the middle of it?
Yeah, I'm in the middle, but I picked up just for you. Just because I want to make sure you're okay.
Well, I'll let you finish that.
All right, man. Sounds good. I'll hit you up later.
I'll talk to you later.
Later.
What a good guy.
I had to check in on Ryder. You know what I'm saying? I always pick up for my people.
And it was good. He was scared.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't normally like answer the phone during a podcast, but yeah, I made an exception. I forget what we were talking about. We were talking about listening, but that book is written by this hostage negotiator guy, and he learns so much about communication and psychology and stuff, and yeah, it definitely takes practice. I feel like you're pretty good at it though, and then like reiterating things back to people like that makes them feel like you're trying to understand what they're saying.
It's just become so important into what I do because if I don't listen to you and don't try to understand exactly what you're saying, like I might not get the job next time.
Right.
Like if Matt's telling me how to upload a video or how to do something and I don't listen to it and I just did it the way I did last time and he's like, "Hey, I told you how to do this." Not that Matt would say this because he's too nice, but like say, "Hey, I told you how to do this. I told you what to do and you didn't do it. Like you better listen this time because you're not going to get a third or fourth time."
Absolutely.
So that's where I've been ultra focused to listen and to make sure I do things the right way and the first time.
Totally.
So that's something I really have like a goal of mine is do things right the first time someone tells it to you.
Well, and like having a clear, and when you listen to understand people, then you start picking apart deliverables that people may or may not want, right? Like let's say that you're talking to a sponsor and people are, and it's like they want, a sponsor might not even know what they want. They're like, we want some video and we want some videos and we want some social media. Like, okay, well, what exactly do you want? Like, what are you looking for? Like,
let's get on the same page.
Getting very detailed about the exact things that people want. And then like, when do you want this by? Oh, okay. Well, it's going to take longer than that to do that. I'm going to have to drive here to do that. Okay. Well, I need gas money to do that. Like getting like the entirety of what something actually is like, and what's going to go into actually executing whatever deliverables you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Talking through those things is really, really important. I've found as well.
Yep.
Because it's so easy to overpromise. But like, yeah, dude, I can make you a couple of reels.
Get them to you tomorrow.
Yeah, and then it's like November, and you're like, holy shit, I haven't made those guys a reel yet.
It's tough. It's definitely the hardest part of the job is deadlines. and promising deadlines or giving expectations for deadlines. It's definitely the hardest part,
For sure.
but it is what it is.
Yep. Totally. Well, you're the man, dude.
You're the man too. Thanks
Good
for
shit.
having me.
Yeah, 200%. We got a big weekend ahead of us with King of Motos. You're getting there Wednesday. We'll probably shoot some videos, make some movies, and have a good time. Can't wait to see how it goes down.
Right on. Let's get after it.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming in. Let's go get some dinner. Maybe go find some ice cream and call it a night. Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
All right, brother.
All right. Sounds good.
Cheers, bro.